Fiordland is facing up to 40% unemployment, with many tourism businesses saying they're unsure about their future. This year, the region has been hit by severe flooding that cut access to Milford Sound during peak season, before losing the Chinese tourist market, then all visitors due to Covid-19. Tourism reporter Tess Brunton and cameraman Nathan McKinnon have been speaking to businesses in Te Anau and filed this report.
Traditionally, about 3/4 of Fiordland's visitors are from overseas. Kiwi country owner John Graney has lost 90% of his income in the wake of the floods and Covid-19. He didn't notice much of a difference over the school holidays in Te Anau.
I was in Queenstown, you couldn't move. It was absolutely insane. Cafes, shops, everything. Streets full of people. Came back to Te Anau, none. They just didn't come here.
He's trying to stay positive and protect his staff while facing some harsh realities.
I could lose everything. 45 years of business. I could have the banks come in and sell me out. That's what I'm looking at.
Fiordland Jet co-owner Chris Adams says the school holidays were hit and miss in the region.
We want to keep it going. We will try and keep it going the best way we can, but it's whether we can keep all our staff on, keep the job security. They've got families in Te Anau. If we haven't got people coming through our doors, the restaurants aren't getting people, the hotels, the motels, the flow-on effect, the shops won't stay open. We don't want a ghost town when people turn back up.
He's tired of hearing about big operators like AJ Hackett Bungie receiving large funding boosts, saying the money would be better spent by spreading it in a region like Fiordland and across smaller businesses.
We genuinely have no idea. Once the wage subsidy's gone off, I don't know how places like Te Anau can survive. We've all done well. We've kept our staff on wherever we can. We don't know who's coming. We don't think the bubble's going to open any day soon, probably definitely not this year. So it's going to be a matter of just dipping into our own pockets to keep our staff going. And we haven't been supported by the government in Te Anau and Fiordland. We've been let down.
Trips and Tramps co-owner Steve Norris says June and July have been good for visitors, but now they're preparing for fewer visitors and the loss of the wage subsidy. The subsidy has been a saving grace for many businesses, but the government isn't planning to extend it again, and most in Te Anau will see it run out next month.
A town like Te Anau is used to being quiet in the winter, so the real reality is going to hit October onwards. You know, like 95% of our business is international in the summer months, and whilst there's definitely going to be some more Kiwis around travelling, particularly in December, January, the school holidays, it's not going to be 95%. you know, a good result's going to be maybe 15, 20%.
Steve Norris is optimistic they'll remain open, but says lots of businesses will look to close their doors if the situation doesn't improve over the next 12 months.
The summer ahead, would be great if some borders open. But in a year's time, if there have been no borders open and no sign of any borders opening in the 6 to 9 months ahead, that's when it's going to turn to tears.
Destination Fiordland is expecting the region will have similar visitor numbers over the school holidays as previous years. Its manager, Madeline Peacock, says they're preparing for a tough slog, with fewer visitors and some residents leaving the region.
So the figures that have come out would suggest that we would be looking at, without intervention from government, up to 40% unemployment, which is high. Since those figures have come out, there have been interventions announced by central government, and so we would hope that those figures would be lower.
Ms Peacock says work is underway to encourage people to visit and promote Te Anau as the base for Fiordland adventures. She says reopening the flood-damaged Milford and route-burned tracks will also make a big difference. In May, the government announced $13.7 million from the budget would go towards repairing and opening them up this summer. Fiordland-based Dock Ranger Grant Tremaine says that's on track, as long as the weather plays ball, but it is a battle of logistics.
You can imagine building a hut's quite different to building a house in town, where sometimes, imagine you're building your house and going to placemakers 2 or 3 times, that's the level of organisation and planning's needed just to carry out work in Fiordland, where you have to take everything in. Most of our areas are remote, so the use of helicopters and walking to effect the repairs in buildings is a real challenge logistically.
While Fiordland businesses face an unknown future, they plan to continue to fight to stay open and welcome visitors to their region. In Te Anau for Checkpoint, Tess Brunton, Te Anau.